I started in the business in 2000. That was not really super yachts. It was smaller sailing and motorboats, starting from 40 foot upwards. Learning the trade over there, which is very important in my opinion, is the basis information, the basis knowledge that you need to have to properly inform your clients. Then the size of yachts that I was selling were growing, so that's why I went to Fraser. There is not a shipyard that we haven't been before. So I know the shipyards, I've seen them growing over the years. How involved I am with shipyards depends on the project, depends on the type of client. I sold new builds that the client only wants to use us for the transaction, and then they appoint a project management team themselves and they go from there. That's fine. It's always up to what the client wanted. It's my opinions or my work or what I think is, in my opinion, completely irrelevant. As a service provider, so we provide a service. If you want the full A to Z service, then we do that. If you want to have the A to B, that's also fine. Then from B onwards to Z, you do it yourself. But behind the scenes, I want to know everything. So at Fraser we have currently, I believe, around 16 or 17 new build projects under construction in different stages with different shipyards. So there's a wealth of knowledge that we can use in any specific project. If it's a production boat, if it's a full custom, if it's Northern Europe, if it's Italy, if it's Turkey. We brought in project management from Fraser to do a specification review, which is the basic thing when you go to a new build, what it is to define what it is that you're buying. Because a client might look at some numbers, at some prices, but if you don't know what you're buying, if what's inside the boat, what are the manufacturer's lists, what are the technical data of the boat, then you don't know if it's a good price that you're paying. The price that you're paying is for what you get. And that is what a specification review does during the first stages of construction. That's for a production boat. On the other hand, we have full custom. That means you start with a clean sheet of paper, you have your own design, the engineering will be done by the shipyard, and then your project manager will define and write basically the specifications of the boat with the shipyard. A lot of time and a lot of decisions need to be made before a yacht is finished. The managing expectations is one of the biggest red line during the whole process. Because people have sometimes no idea what they're getting into, and rightfully so, because a ship is basically building a village. You know, you have all the technical parts, everything needs to be in it, so there's a lot of elements that you're not used to in day-to-day life. So what are we doing? How do we manage expectations? What is important at this certain moment in time? If I'm looking for a certain model, then I look at the design parts of the shipyards, because I know the qualities, I know how they build, I know the people on the ground, I know the people who are selling them, I know the strong parts of the shipyard, I know the weak parts of the shipyard. Then we make an assessment. You need to put all this information in context for a certain client at a certain moment in time. There's a lot of involvement needed from an owner or from his representative, because not all the owners have time or envy to go in every little detail, but these decisions need to be made. It's a whole train of events that you have when you're building a new yacht. So if you miss out on one of the decisions, the whole train, so to speak, will slow down. So your production has to slow down. So your delivery date will slow down or will be delayed. It's a very complicated process with a lot of different players. And we as broker, we leave the specialist to their specialist jobs. And we are monitoring all the time, like a helicopter. Okay, is everything going right? Oh, there's a little slowdown. Why is the slowdown? What the shipyard is doing, how the project management work with the shipyard, how the designers are delivering the designs in time, if the technical drawings are there in time. Is it something we missed out on and we can push a little bit, hold a little back? That's the whole process of managing every little discipline in a new build process. The nice thing about the new builds is that you really go to the basics of how yachts are conceived, how yachts are built, how yachts are put together. The knowledge that you gain from doing new builds is huge, and you can use that knowledge in a lot of different fields of selling yachts. It's a pleasure business called pleasure yachts. Pleasure is the main and then basically the only reason that these yachts exist. It's for fun. It's of course the business part of it is serious because there's a lot of money involved and a lot of responsibility. You have to make sure you give the right advice and an educated advice to a client, not just a sales talk or something like that. That's never worked. So yes, of course, I get excited about a lot of stuff in this business, especially you find out, oh, I didn't know that. That's nice. I'm 25 years, I have gray hair, and there's still a lot of stuff that I don't know. Yeah, that's beautiful.